According to the Department of Employment Security, the unemployment rate in Illinois has reached 10.5%. So if you are one of the tens of thousands currently out of work, or if you fear that you could soon be getting a pink slip, this edition of Perspective is especially for you. Good afternoon and welcome to the program. I'm Monique Caradine Kitchens, and today it's all about jobs, jobs, jobs. How to find them, how to get them, and how to keep them. My guests today are all career and resume experts, and they've scoured the city to find job opportunities for people at every professional level. So grab a pen and paper. We start things off today with Charlotte Weeks. She's a certified career management coach, and she specializes in upper-level professionals. Charlotte, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on today.
Great to have you. This is a big issue, as you well know. And one thing that I've found in doing some research and talking to folks on Facebook about this issue is that the unemployment epidemic is affecting everybody. I don't care if you have a master's, I don't care if you have a doctorate degree, everybody is feeling the pinch. Are you finding that as well?
Absolutely. Everyone. I've seen people from all levels. I've critiqued so many resumes at career fairs.
Nobody's immune to this.
No, not at all.
And that's the scariest thing, because your mom always told you go in and get your education, and if you can stick around and get that master's degree, do it. But that doesn't seem to be, it doesn't seem to matter these days.
I know. It's a really hard time right now, you know, especially for recent graduates, whether it's a bachelor's or a master's degree. And it's just, it's unfortunate, it's very sad. So
as a career coach, do you recommend that people, if they're out of work right now, do you recommend that they go back to school if they can? Or, you know, what should people do? Because people really don't know what to do.
Yeah, not necessarily. What's important is figuring out what you want to do and going for it. And I know that's really hard to keep in mind when you just need money, when you're feeling that desperation, but it is so important. I have so many clients who just say they're open to everything.
Sure.
And while it sounds kind of counterintuitive, when you're open to everything, you really don't fit anything. So people don't know where to put you.
Okay, that's good advice. So let me ask you this about school. There are a lot of people out there who don't have even a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree. Maybe they only have a high school diploma. Okay, so for those people, should they consider, would they be more attractive, if you will, if they did get at least a bachelor's in this economy and market? Not
necessarily. It really depends what type of job they're going for. If they're going to be a teacher, well, of course they're going to need a bachelor's degree in education. That's a requirement. But if somebody's going back to school to get a bachelor's and, you know, it's a liberal arts degree and they're not really sure what they're going to do afterwards, it might not make, it might not be worth the investment.
Okay, so nowadays you say that the most important thing, or at least one of the most important things, is that people hone in and know specifically what they're after.
Yep, absolutely, because they just need to put all their energies into one direction.
Right.
That's how you brand yourself. That's how you become known as an employee that someone want to hire.
Excellent advice. So in addition to working with higher level professionals, I also wanted you to come on to talk about ways that we can make ourselves more marketable. I happen to think that when you are marketable, there are certain things that you have to do. You have to build your brand, if you will. And you're going to talk about that. So let's talk about those things. You have given us 5 simple ways that we can make ourselves more marketable. And number 1, let's just go over this again. Clarify what type of job you want. Just let's go over that a little bit more. Clarify exactly what you want. What are some steps that we can take to do just that?
Yeah, think about, you know, what fields you've worked in before, what you're interested in doing. It may require working with a career coach or going to the library, do some research, but find out what you really want to do and what you're good at, what you feel you can bring to the table, and then it's a lot easier to sell yourself. Okay,
and the next thing, you mentioned this briefly a moment ago, is to build your brand. This is so key, and people don't realize that everything about you says something about your brand. The way you look when you go out, whether it's a professional event or a social event, the way you dress, everything has to do with building that brand. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, the purpose of having your brand is to kind of differentiate yourself from the competition, and just, you know, there's so many ways to do it, but one simple way for the viewers is to think say your top 3 skills that you can bring to a job you're applying for, and weave that into everything. Have a tagline on your email signature,
Nice.
Weave it into your resume, have it be part of your elevator speech, mention it when you go to an interview. Then that's going to stick in people's minds that you're an expert in those 3 areas.
Mention briefly, if you will, what exactly an elevator speech is.
That's for example, if you go to a networking event and someone says, "What do you do?" Well, rather than just saying your job title, you want to elaborate a little bit more and say what you specialize in, possibly what you're looking for if you are currently unemployed, and what you can also bring to the table, those 3 skills.
So you don't want to be caught saying, and all that kind of thing.
Right.
And you want to get that elevator speech down to a couple of sentences, right, so that you can rattle it off quickly. It's succinct, it's descriptive, it's detailed, and it's clear.
Absolutely.
I did good, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, the third thing, I think this is very important, clean up your web presence. What do you mean by that?
Yes, this especially applies to Facebook and MySpace. And having a profile on there can make you very memorable, but not always in a good way. And recruiters, hiring managers, they do look. So people need to make sure that anything that's on the web about them, that they would feel comfortable with a prospective employer seeing.
I better go back and check out my Facebook page. Number 4, you say research the company before you go to the interview. That seems so obvious, but so few people do that. I've even found in my company, people come for an interview, they haven't done any research.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll look just at the posting for the job and they're interested in that job, but don't know anything about the company. Sometimes they forget that that matters as well. So they're going to want to do some research, see what the trends are in the industry, where they've been in the news, so that they can be educated in the interview, and then ask some questions. That really impresses interviewers.
Always ask questions. You have to have questions prepared. I always say at least 3. When someone comes to me and has at least 3 questions, that is impressive. And the 5th tip, in terms of ways that you can make yourself more marketable, Charlotte says, always follow up after an interview. How do we follow up?
That's by phone, email, or voicemail. It really doesn't matter so much how you follow up. It just matters that you do. And this is in addition to a thank you, which is always a must.
Oh, okay.
But anybody who follows up, I've heard a statistic that approximately, their chances are about 30% higher of getting employed than people who don't. I usually recommend calling the first time, but you know, if you don't get in touch with anyone, a voicemail or an email is
So
fine.
call the person who interviewed you, right? Okay, and then do that in addition to sending that thank you note. Okay, good advice. All right, thank you so much, Charlotte. I appreciate that. Charlotte also has some places who she found that are hiring, and so be sure to watch your screen. Coming up next, another expert joins me to tell you how to write powerfully effective resumes that will get you noticed. Stay tuned to that screen. Got some job openings coming up right now.